I'm going to spend 25, 30 minutes just sharing a few things about kind of the company, the organization, a couple of high-level thoughts just about where we're trying to take the company for the future, and then we'll open it up to Q&A for anything that that is on your mind about current operations, future direction of the organization, or what we had for breakfast this morning. So kind of sky will be the limit. To kick off, let me just, I know many of you, some of you I haven't met, but maybe I can just share for a minute a little bit about me. I've been with the company for 18 years. I joined the organization out of graduate school in Phoenix, and I started working in what was at the time the West area. And then I spent the first half of my career in various finance roles, including some time in the Tucson division, which was my first division job. At that point in time, Tucson was a standalone division. And then I then moved to the lovely suburbs of Detroit, which despite the terrible reputation that it has, it was a fantastic place to live, and I quite enjoyed it. And then I went south, way south, south to Florida, and that's where I spent the majority of my career with Pulte. Half the time in Florida doing a job just like what Mike Highland has, and then the other half of the time was in division president and area president type jobs. I've been in Atlanta for the last 5 years now. Atlanta also a fantastic place to live. The only negative thing about Atlanta is it rains more than Dallas, and the traffic is way worse than Dallas. Other than that, Atlanta's a fantastic place to live. So on a personal level, I've got 3 boys. They're 12, 15, and 18. There's a lot of testosterone in our house, as you can probably imagine, with 4 boys. We've got 2 females, one of them human, and one of them a canine. And that's where we try to balance things out a little bit. We've got probably the most exciting thing going on in our house right now is my 18-year-old is getting ready to move out of the house. I've told him he's moving out no matter what. He's either going to college or he's going to get a job. So, his choice, but you're definitely moving out. Hobbies-wise, I like to do stuff outside. I run a little bit. I like to ride bikes, like to snow ski. I grew up in the rural part of Utah, so when I lived in the big city, our big city was about 10,000 people. Then I spent some time in a city that had 150 people, total population. If you included the cows and the horses and some of that stuff, then we got much higher numbers. But I enjoy some gardening and doing things in the yard and a few things like that. My wife's an avid tennis player, so this picture over here on the right-hand side of the screen was us at the U.S. Open last year, the first time that I had ever been. It was a pretty cool event, and I need a tennis racket about that big to keep up with my wife. So here's what I want to talk about a little bit today. First, we're going to reflect just a tad on kind of our past. We've had a lot of success in this organization over the 65-year history that we've been in business, and I think it's important that we stop and celebrate that. We're doing a lot of really cool, unique things in this company, and I want to just acknowledge some of our success. Then I'm going to spend a little bit of time just talking about kind of the view ahead, how we see the market, how we're positioning the company, and some of the things that we're working on. And with that kind of very defined, clear path of where we're going, we've set some pretty lofty goals and priorities for how we're going to make it happen. And then finally, I'll wrap up with just a few things about how we're going to work together to make all this happen. So let's talk about some of our success. As I mentioned, the company's been in business for 65 years. It's a pretty amazing feat when you think about it. It's a company that started with an 18-year-old who built, when Bill Pulte built his first home in Detroit as he graduated from high school, to today we're building over 23,000 homes a year, and in the history of the company, we've built 725,000 homes. So my 18-year-old, I don't think could build a birdhouse, let alone actually building a house that a family could live in. So pretty impressive when you think about it. We're publicly traded, as you know. We've got a lot of investors, individual investors, institutional investors, and they've given us their money. They've entrusted us with their money to invest into land, to invest into running our business, and for that they want a return. And the scorecard that investors use when they're measuring that return is called total shareholder return. It's a pretty simple calculation. It's actually a complicated calculation, but to boil it down into simple terms, it's kind of what did your share price start at a given period in time, and then where did it end at the other period of time. So the conventional periods of time that we look at a 1 year, a 3 year, and a 5 year time horizon. So think about this as kind of our report card, if you will, for investors. And I want to just point out a few things here. Across the bottom of each of those charts, you see those 3-letter symbols. Those are the stock ticker symbols. So our stock ticker symbol on the New York Stock Exchange is PHM. MDC is Richmond American, NVR is Ryan Homes or NVR, Toll, LEN is Lennar, KBH is KB. So those are all of our competitors, basically. And over here on the left-hand side of this chart, the very first one there is the 1 year return. And what you see last year in the 1 year period, we were the second best performing stock of all of the publicly traded home builders. You'll notice that those numbers were negative. Last year was not a great year for the equities. Our company performed incredibly well last year. We had a great year, but the market sentiment and the way that investors were looking at the long-term future of housing, it happened to be a little bit of a down year. That being said, we were the second best performer, and we were very pleased with that. On the 3 year and the 5 year, we've got a much better looking picture. On the 3 year basis, we've returned over 70% to our investors, and on the 5 year, 50% return to our investors. So if you think about if you were an investor in our company and you put $1 into the organization 5 years ago, you've gotten a 50% return on that investment. It's really impressive, and it's part of the reason that our organization has continued to be held in such high regard with the investment communities, because we are doing exactly what we've said we are going to do. We're going to take care of the money that those investors invest into what we do. So just outstanding results here. So let's talk a little bit about kind of what the view ahead looks like and how we measure success. For a long time inside this organization, the idea was we want to be the biggest. We want to be we want to have the highest revenue. We want to build the most number of homes in a given year. And for a long time, we did exactly that. I think we checked that box. We had some success, but when we took a step back and we really evaluated, is that the true measure of success inside the organization, and is that what our investors are asking us for? The answer to that was really no. While we were the biggest, we weren't necessarily the best. And I think what your leadership team has said is certainly volume and size is important. We're looking to have certain economies of scale, but there's a lot more to being the best than just being the biggest. So as I thought about how do we describe this and how would I articulate it, I've boiled it down to this simple phrase to say, I'd like us to be considered the most respected home builder in America. And when you think about that word respect, there's a lot that goes into it. It means that you're doing a lot of things right. We're building high quality homes. We're building in the right locations. We're offering a value to our homeowners. We're standing behind the product that we sell. We're treating our trade partners fairly. We're respected by the municipalities that we operate in. And so the simplest way that I can describe this idea of how do we be the best is to say we want to be considered the most respected home builder in America. I'm going to share with you a few things, some building blocks that will describe how I think that we accomplish that. So I boil it down into these 4 areas, and I'm going to touch on each one of them, but I want to start with inspired employees, and that frankly starts with each and every one of you in this room. If you don't believe in what it is that we're doing as an organization and where we're going as an organization, it'll be incredibly difficult for us to have success. And so everything that we do in this organization since the inception of this company has been grounded in our employees. And we want this to be the best place that you've ever worked. You spend more time here than you do at home. And so when you swing your legs out of bed in the morning, I want you to be fired up about what you do for a living, what your job is here, and probably even more important than any of that are the people that you work with. Do you feel like you're part of a team? Do you feel like your coworkers have your back? Do you want to help each other? And collectively, are we winning together? That's really important to this company. It's something that we focused on. Many of you that have been here for a number of years know that every single year we do the Gallup survey. And in that Gallup survey, we ask 35 or so questions, but the big kind of outcome of that Gallup survey is, are our employees engaged in the work that we're doing? And what we found in 2018, which is the last time that we did that survey, we got the highest levels of employee engagement that we've ever had in this organization, which is impressive. It's not my opinion. It's not Bob or Michelle or Brian Swindell's opinion. That's your opinion. This is an organic level survey where our employees have told us that they're really engaged in what they're doing, and we're proud of that. We listen to that feedback, and we've made changes in the benefit packages that we offer, the pay practices that we have, the way that we manage work-life balance. All of those things are important. So we'll continue to do those surveys, your feedback. We listen to. It is important because we're committed to continuing to make Pulte Group a place where you want to work. The next item that I want to talk about is customer experience. In my view, great companies, truly great companies, they have two things in common. They have great products and they have great customer experience. And we can't be a great company if we don't do both of those items. I think we are doing a better job today than we've ever done in the history of my career here. The way that we're designing products, the way that we're constructing those products, the things that we've done around Pulte construction standards, our build quality index that we've created, all of those things absolutely without question are telling me that we're building higher quality products today than we have ever built, and I'm very proud of that. I also know that our customer experience has risen to a level that is near best in class as well. We're measuring that through Net Promoter Score. A Net Promoter Score is a one question survey, which simply says, would you recommend us to a friend or a family member? It's as simple as that. And think about in your own personal lives the companies that you respect. It's only truly the companies that are the best of the best that you're willing to recommend to a friend or family member. Companies like Southwest Airlines, like USAA, like Amazon, like Trader Joe's. Those are some of the companies that you probably do business with in your own personal lives, and they do great things. They have great products, they offer a value, they provide outstanding customer experience, they have great customer service. Occasionally things go wrong, and when things go wrong, those companies are accountable for what they've sold you, for the promise that they've made to you and to your family, and if things aren't right, they're going to make it right. That's what we're endeavoring to do, and I know that we're doing it. Our customers go through a journey. It's an exciting journey if you think about it. From the time they go onto our website, they come into our sales office, they sign a contract, they go through pre-construction, pre-drywall, homeowner celebration, all the things they go through, and ultimately they end up living in their home. Occasionally they probably have service that they need done, but there's multiple different folks and team members that our customers interact with as they go through that journey. And the thing that I'd want to leave you with is that every single individual that our customers come in contact with matter. And you individually make a huge difference in the experience of our customers. One person can make a difference, make it a positive or a negative experience. And so as you think about your individual jobs and the way that you interact with our customers, it makes a really big deal and has a huge impact on the overall experience and reputation of our company. The reputation of our company is frankly 100% grounded and is a derivative of the individual experiences those customers have with you as our employees. We are doing a lot of things right. I said to you, I think our quality is better than it's ever been. Our customer experience is better than it's ever been, but we're not perfect. And so my simple ask is when things aren't perfect and we have done something that maybe we're not terribly proud of, or we made a mistake, or one of our trade partners make a mistake, that's okay. I just have a simple ask: be responsive. Make sure that it is easy for our customers to get a hold of us. Whether they're texting, emailing, picking up the phone. In today's day, there's any number of avenues that a customer can potentially reach out to us. Make sure they know how to do that. If we give somebody a phone number, make sure that that phone number works, that we listen to the voicemail, those kind of things, that if somebody leaves a voicemail, we respond quickly and timely. Be empathetic. One of my favorite authors, book authors, is a gentleman by the name of Malcolm Gladwell, and Malcolm's written a number of books, but one of the books that I particularly like is a book called Blink. And in that book, Blink, he tells a number of short stories, but one of the stories that he tells is about physicians or doctors. And he does a study to analyze the rate of malpractice insurance, or malpractice lawsuits, as they're analyzing malpractice insurance rates and costs of malpractice insurance. And what they found is that the rate of being sued for malpractice as a physician really has nothing to do with the quality of the doctor. It had everything to do with the bedside manner. And so if a doctor made a mistake, but they had an outstanding bedside manner, they made the patient and the patient's family feel like the doctor cared, they showed some empathy, they were concerned, rarely got sued. The doctors that were great doctors and rarely made a mistake but had terrible bedside manner, they got sued even when they didn't do anything wrong. Our homeowners are no different. Buying a home, moving into a home, building a home, it is a stressful undertaking. For any of you that have ever done it, remember what it was like when you went through it personally. I've been through it myself a number of times as I've moved around the country. I've built homes, I've bought resale homes. Every time I can promise you there's an element of stress, and I know what this business is like. I've been doing it for 18 years. So imagine putting yourself in the shoes of our customers who are maybe doing it for the first time, maybe the second time, maybe the third time. A small little dose of empathy for what they're feeling and what they're experiencing goes a very long way. And then the final piece is be accountable. If we've screwed something up, and occasionally we will, just simply be willing to swallow our pride, swallow our ego, and say, yeah, you know what, that's not right. And we're going to make it right, and then follow through on that commitment. If we can do those three simple things, be responsive, be empathetic, and be accountable, I know that we'll continue to be up there with some of those great companies that I think do a really nice job with customer experience, customer satisfaction. Operating execution. This is at its essence the way that we run our company. Yesterday we had our first quarter earnings call. Any of you have an opportunity to listen to that? A few hands out there. It's kind of boring, so if you didn't listen to it, you didn't miss much. But effectively it's Bob and I and Jim Osowski. We have an opportunity to do a webcast, and we get on a conference call, and it's kind of like a very public performance review. And on that call, we really kind of lay out our performance as an organization. It went incredibly well. We had an outstanding first quarter in 2019. I did a little bit of I recorded a podcast. I sent an email yesterday. Maybe some of you saw that. And in that podcast, I shared a few things about how that earnings call went. But the things that we talk about in that earnings call and the questions that we get asked by the analysts and the housing analysts, they're basically working on behalf of our investors, and they're asking questions about how things went. It's all wrapped up into this idea of superior operational execution. What are our costs? How many specs do we have? What are our gross margins? Really the things that are contained in our financial statements. That's what goes into that. The way that we deliver the outstanding results, which we are delivering, by the way, is we've got standards, we've got processes. We have more processes here than you probably care to imagine. How you sell a home, how you build a home, how the windows need to be installed, how you do a pre-drywall orientation, how you do a pre-closing orientation. If there is something that you've been asked to do and you don't know how to do it, I can guarantee you that there is a process out there. And my simple ask would be, they're there for a reason. The reason those processes are there is because if we continue to do it in a consistent and predictable way, we'll continue to deliver outstanding operating results what this company is. One thing I maybe want to just touch on quickly, anybody, and I know December feels like a lifetime ago, but I'll make a point, I'm making a point with this. Anybody remember how many closings the Dallas division had in the month of December? Close? Somebody out there's got to know. I don't want to ask. I know Scott Bryson knows, but I'm not going to ask him. Anybody in maybe yeah, right here.
170-ish.
170, is that pretty close in December? Lower. How many, Scott? 150. You were close. They act like you were a mile off. You were like, I mean, 150, 170. I give you a ton of credit, so thank you for that answer. Anybody know how many we had in January? Scott, don't lie to me. I know it wasn't 150. How many? 50. So 150 in December, 50 in January. Close. Anybody have any idea or answer why 150 in December and 50 in January? Does the customer want that? Santa Claus just bring extra houses in December that didn't come in January? My guess is there's not an answer, and the reason there's not an answer is there is no good answer why. And either we worked you way too hard in December, or we didn't work you hard enough in January. And my guess is the real answer is neither one of those things are true. We worked you way too hard in December, we didn't work you hard enough in January. And the idea behind one of these processes that I have up here is even flow and consistency. We want to get our business where it's more predictable month to month. We sell about the same number of homes every month. We start about the same number of homes every month. We close about the same number of homes every month. And the key reason why I'm bringing this up is because you all will play a role in helping us to solve this. No matter the department you're in, you are impacted by the lumpiness of our business. It makes your work-life balance not very good, and that's not something that we want. It makes it hard for us to have the quality of homes and the quality of experience that we want. In December, when we have 170 closings, we probably aren't able to give our customers the time and attention that they deserve. The ones in January probably got an extra dose of time and attention from us. And I'd like that to be more even. So my simple ask would be, no matter the department that you work in, help your division leaders, help your managers. Let's figure out how to solve this so that we can have our business be a little more predictable and consistent. The final piece that I want to talk about today as it relates to kind of what we're doing to help become the most respected builder in America is foresight for the future. There are a lot of things that we're doing inside of this company to plan for tomorrow. We've obviously got a lot that we've got to do today. We've got to build homes, sell homes, close homes today. But a fun part of my job is that I get to think about the future and what are we doing? What is the home buyer 5 and 10 years from now going to want? What are they going to look like? And a couple of things that I'd probably highlight for you that we're doing. The first one is around technology. We've made a lot of investments in putting things into our home that reflect the current technology that's out there and available for customers to use. Probably the biggest thing that we did that I'm still very proud of is every single one of the homes that we build, irrespective of price point, comes with a commercial grade, professionally designed Wi-Fi backbone. So whether you're buying a home from us at $170,000 or $1.5 million, just like probably this building has, somewhere up in the ceiling, you've got the properly located Wi-Fi hotspots that make sure that you have great coverage throughout your house. When I moved to Atlanta, I bought an older home. It's not a Pulte designed home. It doesn't have the latest and greatest technology in it. And the Wi-Fi in my house with 3 boys that are constantly trying to play some online game, watch Netflix or whatever else they're doing on the internet, it's a constant source of contention in our home because the Wi-Fi is not great in certain areas. My 15-year-old is a gamer, I'm sad to admit, and he's always telling me, he's like, Dad, the delay between when I do something and when it happens on screen is off. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said, well, it's like 0.0072 milliseconds slow. And I'm like, okay, seems like a pretty high-class problem. Next issue. I'd like to believe that if I lived in a Pulte home that had the technology that we're putting in our homes today, he wouldn't have that issue. So we're really excited about that. If you're in sales, please make sure that you've got the right displays, that you know how the technology works. that you know that what we offer standard, and then you even know the things that we're offering as options. The things that we're offering as options, everything from Wi-Fi controlled garage door openers, cameras, audio, Amazon devices, door locks. There's a number of things that we offer as part of that package. I think those things are table stakes. Sure, we make a little bit of money if we sell them, but in the eyes of the consumer, it sends a message that we are up to date, we're modern, we're paying attention to what innovation is going. And that's a big deal in the eyes of the consumer when they're coming in. They want to buy from a company that they're confident is up to date on the latest and greatest. And so that's the big reason that we've made such an investment in technology. The second thing is our floor plan innovation that I would highlight. We've done a ton of things and continue to do a lot more work around floor plan innovation. We've got great architects, but even better than our architects is I think our consumer research team is just doing a fantastic job reaching out to people that truly live in our homes, and they're asking those customers, how do you live, what works, what doesn't work, and then we're making changes that are showing up in the floor plans. One of the competitive advantages that we have in the marketplace is truly that our floor plans are better. It helps us sell more than the competitors. We're able to sell them for more money. The plans are efficient to build. We truly have better product, and that's helping us as an organization win. The final one that I want to talk about is modernization of construction techniques. You probably say, what in the world are we talking about? Well, we're coming into the digital age, or we're coming into the modern age is really what we're talking about here with modernization of construction techniques. No different than, you know, growing up as a kid, I used to watch Fred Flintstone or the Flintstones, and then the very next TV show was the Jetsons. We're going to do less Flintstone type stuff and more Jetson type stuff is the simplest form of it. And the way that this will kind of manifest itself in our business is we're looking to do things in factories. And I would characterize this as wall panels, truss, you know, pre-manufactured trusses, some kitting of plumbing and electrical things, where once the things actually come out to the job site, it's much more efficient for us to put the homes together. And there's less on-site building and more things going on in a controlled environment inside in air conditioning with robotics, with manufacturing, that once those parts, pieces, and components go to the job site, we can put them together faster. This is not manufactured housing. I'm sure you see some of that every now and again where you've got an 18-wheeler going down the freeway with half of a house, and then 2 miles back is the other half of the house. That's not what we're talking about, but we are talking about taking some of the wall panels, and if we can send several wall panels on one truck and then we can put them together in the field, we think there's a huge opportunity there. The reason that we're focused on this is because we have a labor shortage. No matter the construction trade that we are working with, there's a real shortage of labor. The big driver, there's two big drivers. One, the millennials aren't necessarily interested in working in the trades like they were in prior generations. And then the other piece is the immigration policies in our country are not allowing labor to come in from other countries. Those two things combined are creating a labor shortage, which we're feeling. And one of the ways that we can solve for this is by getting more efficient with the way that we build homes, and that means we've got to do more things in factories. We've got a number of pilots and a number of test things that we're working on that will roll out over the next several years. So nothing today, but know that your company is focused on keeping up and innovating when it comes to the modernization of how we build homes. So how do we build together, and how do we make all this kind of happen? And it's all grounded in this idea and core belief of doing the right thing. And think about that. Those four little words, do the right thing, they mean so much. And those four words really don't require a ton of explanation. It's probably something that your mom taught you from an early age. Do the right thing, tell the truth, be honest, treat other people the way that you'd want to be treated. Those are the things, and those four words, I think, govern a lot of who we are as an organization. It's part of the reason that we have the culture that we have here is because that's what we stand for. This gentleman on the right, Bill Pulte, I had the good fortune of knowing him and working with him for a number of years in my career, and he was just a fantastic person. You know, here you see him laughing, smiling. He kind of looks like your grandfather. That's who he really was as an individual. And a lot of his beliefs and a lot of his core values are summed up in this idea of doing the right thing. We want that for our customers, but we also want that for each other as well. And so I've got kind of 3 additional asks around doing the right thing. Ethics. And what I would share with you there, the way that we behave with land sellers, with municipalities, with our trade partners: be fair, be honest, don't cheat, don't cut corners. Professionalism. Be professional in the workplace. This is not the playground. There is no room for being loud and crude and rude, and we don't tolerate bullying. And respect kind of plays into that as well. That's a big part about who we are as an organization, is do the right thing, high ethics, be professional, respect each other. I think we do that. I know we do that. I know that's what this organization stands for. If for whatever reason any of those things aren't true, speak up, raise your hand. You have a voice and use it. Talk to your manager, talk to somebody in HR, send me an email, send me a text message. And if you're not comfortable doing any of those things, we even have an 800 hotline that you can call into anonymously. Because nothing other than the highest level of kind of respect and professionalism, that's what we expect inside this organization. So what I want to talk about here just for a second is something that I think makes us unique. And we offer a number of things inside this organization that contribute to this being such a great place to work. And for that, we also expect things. But I want to talk about, first, I want to talk about what we offer that I think is different and unique from other companies. We give you work that moves you. This is an exciting place to be. The reason that I'm still working in this business after 18 years, because I've got a little bit of self-diagnosed ADD. I like to try different things. I like to always be involved in something new. That's one of the things that I love about this business, is every day we get something new. New challenge, new opportunity, new community, new land deal, new city to go into. This is an exciting business. And I've done a lot of different jobs inside of home building. Every single one of them has been exciting. And so this idea around we have work that really is unique and cool and exciting and it moves you is something that we offer. The second one is trust that empowers you. Anytime you're given the responsibility of you're in charge of this, that's great, but if somebody hasn't empowered you to make decisions to do that job, not a very fulfilling place to be. And I know that what we stand for as an organization is that we've empowered you to do your job. We've asked you to do something, but we've also empowered you to make the decisions such that you can deliver on those commitments. We have a brand that brings you pride. I am proud to say that I work for Pulte Group. I'm proud of the products that we offer. I'm proud of the locations that we build in. I'm proud of the way that we treat our employees. And so I'm very happy to raise my hand and say I work for Pulte Homes, I work for Del Webb, I work for Pulte Group, because I'm proud. And then finally, we have opportunities to grow. There are more people in this room than I can probably count that have been given opportunities to grow their career. Everybody started somewhere, and everybody has the opportunity to move up, and that's one of the things that, again, makes us unique and special. We like to promote from within. We like to train. We like to give you opportunities. We give you opportunities to move into different departments if it makes sense. That's another thing that I think is unique and special about our company. We just recently had the President's Club, where we had our top 25 sales professionals and our top 25 field managers come to Atlanta, and we had a little bit of a celebration. We had 2 of our top 25 sales professionals that last year were working in construction as a field manager. And they made the decision that they wanted to try something different, and they made the jump from construction into sales. And not only did they make the jump, they made the jump and did it very successfully, such that they ended up in the top 25. Pretty cool, and not something that I think would happen at just any company. So for that and with that, there are some things that we expect, and the first one is compassion for the customer. And it really goes back to some of the things that I was talking about as it relates to customer experience. This whole idea around empathy. And empathy and compassion are two things that kind of go hand in hand. So put yourself in the shoes of the customer, and this might be your third pre-drywall orientation of the week. I can promise you it will be the only pre-drywall orientation that customer goes through this year, maybe the only one they go through in their lifetime. So take the opportunity to be excited, to be upbeat, to be compassionate, to really make it a special and unique experience. Care about quality. And there's a couple of things here that I want to mention. This isn't just quality of the homes, even though that is probably the most important thing. It's also care about the quality of your work. Care about the quality of the relationships that you have with your coworkers, with the folks in the office, with your trade partners. But just this general idea of quality is a big deal, and we need to care about it. Be accountable. It was one of my asks, again, as it related to customer experience, is that we're accountable for the work that we do. We're proud of the brand that we have. We're proud of the work that we have done. And so stand up and be accountable. If something goes wrong, which occasionally it will, it's okay to admit that. Let's fix it and make it right. And then finally is team first mentality. We're a team. That is one of the things that is so great about working for this organization, is that we have each other's backs. This is an organization where individual winners and folks that are out for themselves won't last long. And so one of the things that we ask of you is to really think about how do we help our entire team win. The final thing that I want to touch on today before we open it up for some questions is, why do we do what we do? And there are a number of articles that I've read in magazines and newspapers lately that focus on the purpose of why you go to work every day. So what's the purpose of your job? And they've done top 10 lists that show that the CIA, the Mayo Clinic, the Cleveland Clinic, the FBI, Google, Amazon, that those are some of the places that are the top 10 employers because they have a purpose. And the purpose has been around, I'm saving the world, I'm saving lives, I'm inventing something at Google, I'm working for the biggest company in the world at Amazon. Those are some of the things that folks talk about with purpose. And so as I've reflected about our company and our jobs and what is our purpose, I've come to the conclusion that we have the best purpose of any of those companies, a better purpose than the FBI, a better purpose than Google, and I want to share with you what I think that is. We have the opportunity every single day to help Americans live their dream of home ownership. That's what we do. We build incredible places where people can live their dreams. Think about your own personal lives. What do you do in your spare time with the people, and where do you do it, and who do you do it with? It's birthday parties, it's Christmases, it's Thanksgivings, it's Easters, it's 4th of Julys, it's Memorial Days. All of these significant kind of life events happen with friends and family and happen in somebody's home, either your home or the home of a family member. And that's what our lives as human beings are all about, are these memories. And we have the opportunity to build the places where all of those memories happen. And so when I think about why do we do what we do, we truly have the greatest why of any company that I've ever worked for. And for that reason, among others, I'm thrilled and very proud to say that I work for Pulte Group.